Hi, it's Mark Coopersmith back with my good friend, colleague, and marketing guru, Liz Allen, and we are looking at go-to-market strategies, tactics, and plans. Hi, Liz.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
We are continuing our video series, and we are going to dive into channels when it comes to developing the go-to-market strategy. Liz.
I love this part. I mean, sometimes it's just like great to roll up your sleeves and have a really lot of fun in this. So I'm hoping we're going to do that. So let me just briefly touch on channels and then we will go into sort of these bigger, deeper categories. So channels, how do you reach your customers? These are all those methods and ways in which you can get to your customer, but you want to create a customer experience that uses tactics most effectively. Right time, right place, right message, all those pieces. And we're going to start to create a channel mix that gives you great reach and frequency, particularly for your customer at that stage of their journey.
Now, when you say channel mix, what do you mean by that?
I'm going to talk about that, but channel mix is essentially not just buckling down and focusing on one channel. Like it is all about the website doing all the heavy lifting and all the work. We need a bit of a channel mix, and we'll talk about all the different options we have during each of these sections as I go through them. And I think the mix will come to fruition. You'll see it come
Perfect.
to life. Okay, so let's start with owned media. And I know you guys have talked about this briefly. This
Yeah,
is
if I could, let me frame this just a moment at this
hopefully
point. So when we talked about moving from the 4 Ps or whatever into a go-to-market strategy, we talked about 3 different core types of media that you'll be using, and Liz will be helping define those for us. It's owned media, it's paid media, and earned media. And this is where we take those different types of media and really say, what do they mean and how do we manage them differently? This is both the art and the science of building that go-to-market plan. Back to you.
which is the best part about marketing, art and science. So owned media, this is what you control. You control the messaging, you control the channel, the distribution. It's everything that's published on your content, on your channels, and that you own. So it is probably requires the most effort on your part, but it is the least expensive to pull together from an external paid standpoint. So a
And
lot
you're
of
going to and you'll give us some specific examples beyond just a website, some things that we can look to say, oh, that's owned media.
I'll give you a ton of examples.
Perfect.
Least expensive financially, maybe, but a lot of, as I was, blood, sweat, and tears here. The paid media is going to be channels where you pay to have your content, posted. It's going to be the most expensive, but maybe the least effort. It's still going to be effort for you. And then lastly, earned media. So really, this is what you garner probably as a result of both what you own and what you paid for. But it's information about your brand, your product, your service that you get from third-party sources.
So in some ways, that earned media can be particularly valuable because it's not you owning it, it's not you paying for it, it's what other people are saying about you and how
Correct.
they're, and it's often considered the most impartial, which makes it so valuable.
Gives you a lot of credibility. Sorry, I snuck ahead to this, but I just love talking about it. So this is really where we're getting into the tactics. And sometimes the tactics can be just really invigorating. So this is a list, and it's probably not even a complete list, but a list I pulled together of owned media channels. So it can be, of course, your website, it can be your app, but it can also be content marketing that you're producing, videos or blogs or whatever else, podcasts. It can be all, of course, your social channels because you're putting in the information that you want to project and portray out there in the universe. This is called organic social, not paid social, just to be clear. But they're promotions and company items and things like that. So everywhere you could be touching the customer, these are the things that you control, that you own, that you're putting the messaging out. These are your own media channels.
So if you have trucks that are driving around the city with your brand on the side of them, is that owned media?
It is.
Yeah.
In fact, let me show you a couple examples. So we've got a website. I think this is the cost of entry at this point for anything. And I'm not saying it has to be a rich and really robust website. If the objective of your website is just to collect leads, like let's say you're a long sales cycle and a B2B player, you might just have 1 or 2 pages on the site. But what I would advocate is that you make it as clean and simple as you can. So you have a way in which to engage and connect, so you can track that. So it's not just a pretty picture, but it clearly defines who you are, what you want that customer to do when they get to the site, and you don't try to add a whole lot of bells and whistles. And I picked these two examples because I think they show a nice, very clean navigation. That's this little top part. Some sites will have double navigation. That's a pet peeve of mine, but this gives me very clear direction. What do you want me to do? I can register, I can request a demo, I can request a demo. I can register, I can watch a demo, I can learn more. So I have very clear call to actions, and it's very simply laid out, and it's really telling me a little bit about why I want to use this product and the service. Same thing with this HubSpot piece. It's just very clear, directing me where I want to go, and it's not trying to hide information. Make it easy for the customer to get to where you want them to get to.
Keep your messaging really simple.
Correct. Here's an example of some content marketing. So content marketing has really evolved over the past handful of years, and it could be anything from TikTok videos to blogs and white papers. In a B2B environment, white papers, videos, all those like free webinars are going to be really critical. Podcasts, huge these days. And so a great way to get your content out that way and become an expert and get that credibility you may need as you're launching a new service. And when you ask me about that truck, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Brand visuals, often overlooked. I hope you spend a little bit of time on your brand work. It's super, super dear and near to my heart. But if you look at this Tiffany bag here, I bet I could just hold up that color to a lot of people and they would tell me that that's Tiffany. There is something about this walking advertising and the things that you could put in play for your company or brand where you don't need to spend a ton of money, but it's literally out in the universe and sort of walking owned media.
T-shirts, hats, bumper stickers, all of those types of things, giveaways that you might do, flyers. Those are all some of the media we're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we should pause there and then come back in a second and talk about the other media objectives.
That sounds great. So we will see you back here soon.